All right, guys, this is Sell or No Sell. We took
Sean here
a
from Sell or
about a
No
week
Sell,
off,
obviously.
right? I'm here, Sean G, with the infamous BG, Mr. Bobblegoat himself, Brandon Cohen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, baby, back.
We are back after about a week off, and in that week there was a ton of wrestling to talk about. We're not going to get to it all. But I really want to touch on a lot of different things, right? First off, title of this episode today is Rastlin with an R, Rastlin with Chicken Parm. So you can kind of see, guys, where our heads are going to go later on from a food perspective. But we're going to use the old school wrestling. Wrestling. You know, like, what are you doing? You watching wrestling? No, I'm watching wrestling. So it's an old school kind of feel to this, right? Very very world class championship wrestling, very old school WCW, very like
NWA, like,
NWA,
yeah,
like very like we're not sports entertainment, we're watching wrestling. So
wrestling.
in the realm of watching some wrestling,
Strap
uh
up your boots and get ready for some wrestling.
some
All right.
wrestling. We need some wrestling. And so there was some wrestling on TV the past 10 days or so, right? There was wrestling and there was raunchiness, right? And then there was more wrestling, and then there was
More
more.
raunchiness.
Yes. And then there was more wrestling, but then there was raunchy wrestling. So it was a kind of a whole different like scenario where you get raunchy and you're wrestling at the same time. So I want to get into it, right? I want to talk, and I think we can kind of go into it talking a little bit about the Dom Mysterio, Liv Morgan storyline, right? We don't need to. I don't think we need to like take it and go like, all right, this was happened last week, this happened this week. We can put it all together, right? Essentially, what's happening, right, is that Dom is in a. I
Big
don't want to say
pimping,
like,
baby. He is big pimping.
yeah, like, and here's what's crazy, right? Is, people say like Dom Mysterio is in a love triangle. In reality, he's not in a love triangle, not one bit.
I mean, if he
He,
wants to be in a love triangle,
well, no,
he's in one.
he's not, because let me tell you why I think he's not in a love triangle. So with Liv, oh yeah, all day, all night, right? Like she is she is in the Dom um camp, if you will. But in reality, Dom is in mommy's camp, right? So mommy's not giving him the same loving potential scenario that Liv is giving him right now, that attention, right? It's almost like you know, Dom continues to go to Rhea, or to be with Rhea, when she was around, in a way that it's very like master servant type thing, right? Very like, because in reality, Liv is giving him everything that probably he wishes that Rhea would give him. I found this week very interesting with one of her statements. It was like, you don't need to be calling anybody mommy. You need someone to call you daddy. And I
It's
was like,
just so
oh,
ridiculous. Oh
I
my
was like,
god.
oh shit. But here's the thing: Liv is the perfect character for this. Now, here's what's interesting about it. I love it. At the same time, I think that I think that they're right at this particular moment using the women's championship as a toy, right? Because this story, I understand the story needs the fact that Liv took the belt away and now she's taking things away and things away, things away. But at the same time, that belt was already taken away from Rhea. She didn't have it. She gave it up. So in reality, like, does Liv really need the belt to do this storyline? I don't think so. And I think that the belt becomes an afterthought in this storyline that gets
Yeah,
so
until the
more crazy.
storyline becomes so big that I mean, like
Yeah, it gets
this,
big. You're right.
I mean, like this could be the women's main event of SummerSlam, like
Correct.
easily.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. It's definitely, you put those two on based on just the storyline alone, it's going to work, right? there's so many subliminal little storylines inside of the storylines, right? You look at uh, just even this week alone, right? This week, with the room key, and you have
Finn took the
Carlito
room
going
key. By
the
the
room
way,
key,
Finn took the
right,
room key.
right.
If anyone
Fit
noticed,
with the
Finn walked
little
away with the room key.
right, and that creates a storyline, right? Is the storyline like, is this a plan all by Finn, right? Um, I would have
Yeah, Finn
loved,
keeps stepping in. Finn keeps stepping in.
I
Yeah.
would have loved, I would have loved if they shot at the angle where Dom went to the hotel room to tell her off or just whatever, but because he didn't have the key, he wouldn't have been let in, and we know that Finn at that point had the key. So is he in there? Is he not? Right. I think that would have been really cool. I love the infiltration of Carlito into into the Judgment Day.
Yeah,
That
he's just kind of in it. Like,
right.
like
He's just in it. There's no initiation. He's just in it.
yeah. First of all, the best thing that Rhea Ripley has done when she's been off the air isn't even really talked about. But I mean, like, if you read the internet like we do, it is hilarious. Um, it is the nickname that she has given to her own world champion best friend Damian Priest of bisexual Undertaker. It is so funny, and he absolutely hates it, and she keeps saying it, and it's just, I don't know. I just think it's hilarious. I thought it needed to be mentioned for all of our
Yeah, I mean,
camera
I
viewers
think
out
that he
there.
needs to check the wardrobe just a little bit because that's why she's calling him that. Um, I think that with Carlito, with the key, when he drops when Dom throws the key down, and then Carlito goes, "That's cool," right? But in reality, right, like, no, no, it's not. And what's crazy about this whole get up here, right? There's a payoff, right? We understand there's a payoff somewhere down the line. We understand that inevitably Rhea comes back. There's a payoff, but I think subliminally there's a situation that we're kind of, I don't know if we're like missing out on, but it's it's not just Liv pulling the strings; it's someone else too. Um, it could be Finn, it could be Priest. You know, it, you never know. In this scenario where it's an ever evolving scenario, I will say that this is one of the storylines that keeps Monday nights like
Going,
cool, right?
going because there aren't many storylines right now. We need other people back. Like, yeah,
I think. Well, I think that I think. Look, let's. Do we need other people back? Of course, we need other people back, but at the same time, those people back, these storylines don't happen, right? And then you're not giving people a chance. One of the biggest pinpoints of for years prior of the WWE was they weren't able to build stars, right? They weren't, or to their full potential. And you have a situation where you're allowing this to happen now. Now again, it works no differently than everything else. Is what is the payoff, and then when that payoff happens, what happens next? I think that I mean, wrestling is littered with this was a great story, but then what? And sometimes they never had the then what. They had the, oh, this got to this point, and then what, right? So like, like Rhea comes back, well, and then what? There's a match, okay, and then what? Uh, Rhea beats Liv, okay, and then what? Is it, a lot of times Triple H has said when making a WrestleMania card, you build from the card. You start from where the card is, and you build backwards. And if we take that into account, we have to assume that hopefully he's building backwards, but that elongational period has to be a while. Like, it has to be, or else we're in a situation that we don't want to be in. I find something very interesting that I don't think anybody's really covering right now, and I could be wrong in this scenario. Pretty sure Dominic Mysterio had surgery, right?
That's what I read,
Okay.
but he
Did he not
also
have Tommy John surgery?
I mean, he was in the ring though.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Correct.
So like that's what's really confusing about it.
Is he hurt? Is he not hurt? I'm confused
Yeah,
by
I
it.
mean,
Was he
like there
rehabbing?
were like I don't know what to believe. I like it's on the
Um,
internet. They had surgery, but he was in the ring. So like I don't know what to
yeah,
believe anymore.
I'm
Yeah,
confused by that. What I'm not confused by is Dominic Mysterio is super entertaining right now. Like,
he's over.
yeah,
He's
like,
so over.
yes, he's still getting booed, but he's getting booed in an entirely different way right now.
People want to
Because
hear what he has to say. People want to hear what they
people like are like, dude, what are you gonna do next, right? Before it was like, why are you on my TV, right? Like, why are you on my
I
TV?
mean, that is a great way of explaining it.
Yeah, right. Like, it's just a different kind of heat. And we're talking about heat. I want to jump to, uh, I want to jump to some major heat, which is the storyline between Otis and Sami Zayn, right? Again, um, it's a very slow moving, which is fine, a very slow moving week to week scenario of eventually Otis snapping, and taking him, his head off. But here's the thing: we go back to the same statement from before, and then what? So all this builds and builds and builds and builds for Otis to turn on Chad Gable, and then what?
And then you have another feud for the Intercontinental Championship
Oh,
if Gable wins. If Gable
right?
wins,
Like, and then what? Right, and then what? Or is this a situation where Otis is the prop in this? And yeah, we play to the crowd for the pop, right? For that original pop, but the actual story is the fact that uh, that Chad Gable is going to take someone like the Creed brothers, and now they're grouped together, right? I don't know, right? I'm just spitballing here, unless there's the and then what, because they tried to and then what Otis when Mandy Rose was there, getting the Money in the Bank briefcase and so on and so forth during COVID, and uh, and that was great, but there was no live people, right? So you're not going to get a reaction. Um, and just because you can only have one lovable loser, if you will, right? Like, that's Sami Zayn. That's the lovable loser, right? You can't have the lovable loser and
I
then
mean
have
that's
Otis.
why that's why they turned Gable. That's
Right,
the
because
complete
everybody,
reason why they turned Gable. And I mean, it was a good decision to turn Gable, but like as you said, as you've been saying, after this match, and then what? No matter what happens, and then what?
well, right, and I think that history always, listen, in wrestling and in life, history repeats itself, right? There are very few times in wrestling and in life where there's a really original idea, right? I mean, there might be an original idea where there's a unique situation within the non-original idea of the reboot, if you will. Um,
We're just gonna remember that you said that for when we
yeah,
talk about
you look at, like,
for when we talk about SmackDown.
yeah, look, you look at, like, the Live story. It's been done before, many times over.
SmackDown, it's been done before.
Everything has been done before, with
Yeah,
exceptions of, like, little nuances that are in between, that make it special to them, right? So, you have a situation right now, like with the Live thing. What's unique about it is that Rhea's not there right now. That's what's unique about it. Is But it's not unique where a girl wants a guy and trying to take her away from another
it's not
girl.
unique
It's
where
not
people
unique at
are
all.
battling for custody of Dominic Mysterio. It's pretty
But
hilarious.
here's the thing. Here's the thing is, you think they're battling, but it's really only one sided right now,
Yeah,
right?
but I mean the memes are hilarious.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, it's only really one sided right now because Liv is battling for Dom. Dom is battling not to be with Liv, but Rhea's not in it right now.
Yet.
But I'm saying right now. Right now. So no one's really battling for anybody. It's really just Liv battling for Liv, essentially. And then with Chad Gable, it's just Kurt Angle, right? He's just a guy who has hair, Kurt Angle, right now. Like, he's gonna start his team up essentially. This is the way we want to do it. This is the way it should be done. Blah, 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 blah. I make you, I make you, I make you. Uh, and so, what's unique about it is that, you have a situation where this big, overweight, strong man is getting slapped around like, he was Dom Mysterio. He's getting slapped around.
By this little tiny man named
By
Chad
this
Gable.
little tiny guy, essentially, and who could wrestle.
Definitely can wrestle.
Right.
Nobody denies that.
Nobody can deny that he can wrestle. And so you have those situations, and then obviously, like, you have your you're kind of moving off of Chad Gable right now. You have, and I think Sami Zayn, to be perfectly honest, I think Sami Zayn's an afterthought in this. No, I don't care
At
what
the
he
moment,
says.
at the moment, yes, but that's probably why there's a chance. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? I mean, there's been no reports yet of Gable's contract being renewed, so I mean, like, there'll be a big,
Yeah, but
it'll be a big indicator of if it was renewed, if he wins the championship or not.
yeah, I think that they probably should go that way.
I mean,
And I thought,
it's always good to see championships change hands, especially ones like the Intercontinental. But
yeah. I mean, and we'll talk about that when we preview the Clash of the Castle. But you know, talking about your friend Damien Priest, obviously he
the bisexual Undertaker.
having a situation with um with Drew McIntyre. Look, I think that we're I think that, and again, we're going to talk about it with the preview to Clash, but I think that that they've done an okay job. I think that ultimately wrestling as a whole, within the time period of the week after Mania to about Money in the Bank-ish time period, is not a reset time period, because obviously you never reset in wrestling, but I think it's a time period by which just not as hot.
It's not as
Um,
hot, and
that I think that
you're
there's such a
100%
build,
right. And
right?
like,
There's such a build. There's a build
also,
going.
like, it's also a time period like where historically the big guns go on vacation. Mania ends and they go on vacation. They take some time, and like, it's what Triple H did. It's what he's allowing other stars to do. It's the culture that was set by Vince, and it's what the people want to do. Sorry, I know I said the name, but it's what's still being done. Like, look who's not there right now.
Well, hold on a second, right? So the only person that's not there right now,
The only person,
no. I'm saying the only person that's on vacation is Roman Reigns.
Seth Rollins, isn't on vacation.
He not if you define having a torn meniscus on vacation.
For Seth Rollins, that's vacation.
That's not vacation. No,
That's
that's
vacation.
not vacation. That's an injury. Okay, is Rhea on vacation? No, that's an injury. Is Becky Lynch unemployed right now? Yes. They're not on vacation. They are cannot perform or are not contractually performing. The person who's on vacation right now, that in theory doesn't have to be on vacation, is Roman Reigns.
Oh, he wasn't technically on vacation. He was filming.
That's vacation.
That's filming.
That's filming. That's by choice. See,
But
that's by
now the
choice.
filming's done, and wouldn't
Seth
surprise me.
Rollins
Wouldn't
being,
surprise me. Would not. You know what? We're gonna see him very soon.
well, yeah, it's the summer. It's leading into Money in the Bank. Of course, we're going to see him soon, but I don't think we're going to see him as soon as you think, because I think this storyline still needs to play out. There's a lot of
I mean, yeah,
questions.
we need to see, like, other people before we see him.
Of
Obviously,
course, of
yeah.
course, of course,
But I
of
still
course.
think we're gonna see him soon.
So,
I'm not saying we're gonna see him on Saturday, if that's what you think I'm
no,
saying.
no, no, no. We're not going to. Okay, why would
That would
he?
be. I'm not.
Which also,
Go
which
there.
also begs the question as well. Is I so last year was the first Clash of the Castle, right? It was in
Yeah.
a big stadium. Now they're going to a show in an arena. So like I question that maybe from a sound acoustic standpoint, but I do question that a little bit too. Like you start with a stadium and then drop down to an arena.
Yeah, but think about the way that France was.
Yeah, no, I get that. I think that's.
That was freaking like that was insane. Think about the way
I
that
don't think that they were expecting what that was.
when
I think they were expecting a loud crowd.
when they already planned this. Yeah, okay, that's a fair point. But I think that I think that the crowd is going to want to try to be like that. I think that every international crowd
You
is going to want
hope
to try to
so,
be like that
right?
now.
You would
Yeah,
hope so.
sure hope so.
You would hope so, but you never quite know. So listen, let's jump into it, right? Um, there's no sense of jumping into SmackDown yet, because I believe that's its own segment. Um, I
We don't need to
think.
talk much SmackDown. Like it's
Okay,
fine.
well, there's clearly something you want to talk about. So, from a SmackDown perspective, so I'm gonna let you kind of bring it up.
All
What
right. Well, if we're gonna transition into this, what I want to talk about is the fact that we have not acknowledged the tribal chief in over almost 70 days now,
do
and
you
we
mean
haven't.
we've acknowledged them? Everybody acknowledges them. They throw the
No, no,
one.
no, 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 no. When I say we haven't acknowledged him, I mean we have not heard the tribal chief's music. He has not been there. He's not okay. What I'm trying to say is the bloodline sucks. Okay, I was gonna make a build to it. I do not like the direction the bloodline's going in right
Why?
now. I think that Solo is weak personally. I think that this I think Heyman's doing an excellent job. I think that I do not think that Tamatanga is a good right hand man. I don't know. I think that like I don't think it's gonna be close when it's Roman, Jimmy, and Jay versus those three. I just don't.
So, okay, so there's a lot to unpack here because I think that
That's just my
you.
take. That's my
That's
take.
fine. That's fine. I think that you have a perception of the bloodline, which is totally fine, uh, as to what you've been used to for 3 years, and what this is different. So let's unpack that, right?
All right.
So the bloodline, original bloodline for with Roman and even Solo and the Usos and Paul Heyman and Sammy were a situation where some of them it was a kind of a setback, right? Chill out. Who's the number one contender? All right, let's take care of the scenario. And and it was more about calculated conversations and calculated scenarios um and great monologues and promos and even great uh skidding, right? Breaking of characters and laughing and making it cool. This is not that bloodline.
No.
This is not that bloodline.
He's a
This
total heel.
bloodline is a bloodline of people who just want to beat the crap out of you.
No, you're
It
not
does.
supposed to like them, right? You're not supposed to like them.
I don't to be perfectly honest. I don't think anybody does like Solo. But hold on a second. When is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing. I don't think I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying as a character, just like I don't like a villain in a TV show, I don't like Solo. I
Right.
can't wait.
As a character, you don't like him. You want to see him get punched in his
I,
face, right?
I I can't wait to see him get punched in the face. Yeah.
Right. And so, you know what the best
That
benefit of that
that
is?
is
That
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm not
no,
saying
I'm
that.
saying that means he's doing his job. If you didn't want him to get punched in the face, then Roman coming back and quote unquote making the save at some point is pointless.
Oh,
Every
I'm talking as a genuine I'm talking as we present ourselves on the show as a genuine wrestling fan. I can't stand this bloodline, but I can't stop watching them.
well, I don't think it's car crash entertainment. I think that
No, it's a build. It's a total build.
here's the thing, right? I think that it's a build. I think that with Paul Heyman kind of running the show where this is concerned, they have an end goal in mind of what they want to do. I don't think this is a mania end goal. What I'm saying is, I think again, we talked about there's other people that are going to get involved in this, right? You know, there's there's Jacob Fatu is out there somewhere.
I saw they just
Um,
signed somebody else. I can't think of his name, but I saw.
His name is Hikuleo.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah,
and he is the younger brother of Tama Tonga and Tangaloa.
okay. So
Okay, he is a big mother trucker. He is big, tall, long hair, bloodline, right? From is Tongan, like from that line, right? Uh, and but the question is, right? We think about this, right?
is
And we
he
say,
for
well, they're
now or
both.
is he for later? Is he for now or are they
Then that's the
planning
question, right?
to
Well,
develop him
listen,
for
I
later?
thought
Yeah.
Jacob Fatu at this point would have already debuted, and
So
so you
there's
have
a
to have him
reason
debut
Triple H.
first,
Yeah. So Triple H doesn't
and then
think
you
it's right.
have. And here's the thing, we're thinking about this maybe in a different light because let's say that Hikuleo comes in and he joins obviously the current bloodline, and we still haven't seen Jacob Fatu yet. Maybe Jacob Fatu joins Roman's line. Maybe we're thinking it's Sami Zayn, right? Because from like an emotional end of things, right? Like a comeback Sammy type thing, right? But maybe it's Roman, the Usos, and Jacob Fatu, four of them versus the four of the others, and there you go. There's your match. There's
I
your
mean,
war game.
it could honestly be both because
Or maybe it's the other way, right? Maybe it's Jacob. See, here's the thing about Jacob Fatu, right? So, and maybe this is why he hasn't debuted, and maybe this is why he goes the other way. By putting Jacob Fatu next to Solo, you do nothing but hurt Solo and Tama Tonga in the situation. Because when Jacob Fatu stands next to anyone that is masking themselves as a tough person, you can literally look at Jacob Fatu and go, that's the muscle. That guy right there.
yeah, but
That's the
that group, I think we all know ultimately needs The Rock standing in front of it.
yeah, eventually. From what
Eventually,
I understand,
I'm saying
the Rock.
I'm not saying anytime soon, but I'm saying eventually it needs The Rock standing in front of it.
Yes.
That is
Okay.
the final boss's bloodline right there.
But you can do a 5-on-5.
Yeah,
You can do five.
that's why I think Sami Zayn can be involved in it, whether you have Fatu or not on
I
on the
mean,
other side.
maybe. I think at this point, and correct me if I'm wrong, the past 2 weeks, um, with the exception of a vignette for Money in the Bank, Jay Uso has not been on programming the past 2 weeks.
That is correct. He came out into the crowd and announced that he was going to be in the match, and then they announced that there was going to be qualifying matches. So I don't know if
Right.
you, I don't really know what that means.
I would think, again, I'm not 100% on this at all. I would think, I would imagine he qualifies, right? Let's just,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's definitely he's
Yeah,
gonna be in the match.
I
Yeah.
would imagine July is probably the end of the single run of Jey Uso. I
Yeah,
would say after.
he's not gonna win Money in the Bank, even though
No. I'm saying
people
I
will
would
want him.
say
People will want him to win Money in the
yeah.
Bank.
No, listen. A Money in the Bank should go to a heel. A briefcase to a heel is much more fun than a
It's the
briefcase to.
same conversation that we had about King of the Ring, pretty much.
Correct. Heels need to win things. Faces need to overcome obstacles. That's just the way it is. And
Heels need to win things like Money in the Bank,
yep,
King of the
yep,
Ring.
yep.
Faces need to win that WWE
The
championship.
big match. The big match. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I look at July as probably the last, at least for the interim time period starting in July. Uh, I would think that Jay would be done at that point. I would think that it's something along because here's the thing, it's something along the lines of Jimmy coming back. Now you're leading to a match. Maybe you get. I know people wanted that at Mania, but maybe at SummerSlam instead you get the Usos versus God. You get that scenario.
Let me ask you a crazy
What?
question. Okay, so I've seen this, and like I could never see this, but I've seen this like down the line at like Survivor Series.
Sure.
Did you see a team that had Roman and Cody on the same team?
Uh,
So I already jumped to that. I've just seen people speculate that,
Wow.
right?
Um,
I think that's too far down the line to speculate.
I think it's too far down the line. I also think that I think that'd be tough. Well, I I think that'd be tough. But again, I don't. They're going somewhere with this story, right? So we kind of knew what the story was like, with Cody and Roman. We knew kind of where it's going, where's it going. I really don't have an answer to where it's going at this moment. Um, we just got to strap up and get along for the ride, right? Figure it out. And the transitioning from the ride, I wanted preview Clash. I think it's important to preview Clash. There's only 5 matches, right? So let's
Perfect.
let's let's kind of get into it.
Perfect.
Um, we can easily go through the 5 matches. It's not that big of a deal, and and I think that give me your take on it, right? Like, so we'll start first with the women's tag match. It's a triple threat tag match: Bianca and Jade versus Alba Fire and Isla Dawn versus Shayna and Zoe. Give me your take on that.
I just don't see Bianca and Jade losing anytime soon before one of them turns on the other one. So I mean, like that seems like a no brainer to me. Just to be honest, I don't really have much to say about that one.
I agree. I mean, I highly doubt they lose.
Yeah,
Let's talk about the IC title match: Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable.
really don't want to see Gable with the win it, but I mean, it's gonna be a hot crowd. They're they'll be happy with either one of them winning it. Just to be honest, if I had to pick somebody with the way the storyline's been going, I don't think you can have Gable lose again. I think he's a hot wrestler right now. With I'm gonna pick Gable. I don't want to, but I'm going to.
I mean, I think that look, I Sammy does nothing for me.
I'll see. You know I love Sammy, so yeah.
Sammy does nothing for me. Sammy does nothing for me. Sammy did a lot for me when he was a part of the Bloodline. He was hilarious. Um, and then when he was with Kevin Owens for WrestleMania 39, it was great. I think that the Intercontinental title has dropped in a level since Gunther didn't have it anymore. Um, I don't think there's a prestige to it right now. It's not really being presented in a prestigious way either. I don't think at this moment.
But do you think that Gable's the person that can do that?
No, I don't think anybody but Gunther is.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
No, I mean somebody like uh, so. I mean, obviously it's a little bit of beneath him at this point, but like somebody like Drew. I think if Seth came back at some point, Seth could elevate it again, like Gunther did. Um, but unless the
Seth,
person
Seth
holds the
did
title
that.
forever.
Seth did that. What, like 2 years ago with the U.S. title? He
What did
definitely
they do?
did.
Look, they've all done it, right?
Yeah, they've all done it.
But then at the same time,
But
when they lose it, just
yeah,
goes back to the way it is.
when they lose it, it goes back to the way it
Go
is.
back to the way it
Exactly.
is. All right, Bailey versus Piper Niven.
The crowd's gonna be hot for Piper Niven, but
They
I mean,
are.
like, other than where's Piper Niven in this other than where the location. Um,
You're right. You're right, but where's Bailey right now?
Bailey is not dropping the belt, in my opinion.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying, where is
Yeah,
Bailey?
no, I agree. She needs more writing for her as the women's champion on SmackDown. She needs more writing for her, but I don't think that they need to freshen up the women's champion. I just think that Bailey needs more writing. I don't think she's gonna lose it.
I don't think so either. I mean, but
In fact, I think they should have probably had somebody that wasn't Piper Niven be the person that faces her. But that's my opinion.
yeah, I think they're playing off that home crowd scenario.
Yeah.
All right, So let's talk about the WWE Undisputed Championship match, which would, by the way, would not surprise me to open the show. Okay. AJ Styles, Cody Rhodes. Let's talk about it.
I mean, I think this is another no-brainer. Cody's not dropping the championship this early in his run. He did not work this hard to get the championship to lose.
Agreed. Agreed.
It's just like we don't have to
Look,
talk that long about to know that Cody's not losing this championship right now.
yeah, no, agreed. I think it'll be a good match. There'll be some submissions. Da, 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 da. It'll be good.
If he's going to
Uh,
drop championship to somebody and go back and forth with somebody, it's not going to be AJ Styles. It's going to be somebody he has history with, like Orton.
right, like correct. Who's not on the card, right? Which is also interesting.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that that's look. I mean, I think this is just a placeholder for Cody to be on the show, and this is the way to do it.
Cody defends a lot. I was reading about it. He defends it like every single house show. He selling as I have more respect after I was reading about this. He's selling more merch than Cena was. He's making more appearances than Cena was. It's very impressive the numbers that he's putting up right now. A lot of people would not know that because a lot of people are talking negatively about him on the internet because of the writing for him without realizing the things that he's doing for the company outside of the actual just SmackDown that he appears on. He's doing a lot for the company right now.
Carrying the torch. He's what he's supposed to do. He's carrying the torch.
Yeah, but people only see what they see on TV, and yeah. So I was giving a shout out. All right.
I get it. I get it. Let's talk about the main event.
All right. So I think this is the hardest one to pick.
Go for it.
This is the hardest one to pick. I mean, like, it's easy to say, like, okay, Drew should get it, right? Like it is. And like I made the prediction a couple of weeks ago that Damian Priest was basically going to lose this match. I think I'm going to stick with it, but I'm nervous about it. I mean, like,
nope.
I'm okay being wrong.
You won't be wrong. You know why? You know it. The writing,
but because CM Punk's gonna do some shenanigans and ruin the match for Drew.
Yep.
I just talked myself into, and you just talked me, and I talked myself. Okay, I guess Damian Priest walks out of there champion. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think he walks out as champion, right?
That's crazy. I wouldn't have picked that a couple of weeks ago, but I guess he does.
I mean, look, they've made so much about like him, about McIntyre being at home and all this kind of stuff. Like, that's why I'm kind of like,
yeah, if he was gonna win it, it should have been versus Roman. I mean, like, they don't need to like.
Right, like
I don't need to give him a makeup win.
I think that
this is wrestling, not baseball.
You put yourself in a problematic situation if he wins, and then what? Where is Punk in this scenario? Because you know it's going to be him versus Punk, but yet Gunther has the match at SummerSlam. Like,
yeah.
I'll be perfectly honest. I think it would be really cool if, I would love Drew to lose, get into the Money in the Bank, and he'd be the briefcase holder. Because now because all the things that are happening to him,
he then now has control
to
of
somebody else.
Yeah,
and then.
But I mean, Drew versus Punk does not need to be a title match.
I agree. Does not need to be a title match. So keep the title. If the goal is for Drew versus Punk, do not muddy the waters and give him the belt. And create a situation where potentially Punk has a title match. Wrestling no matches except for Royal Rumble and one match against Dom Mysterio. Come on.
If Punk is a man of his word, he doesn't want to be. He shouldn't be handed a title match, and he shouldn't accept it because he's bitched about it.
Well, he'll do whatever they tell him to do. But
I know he will. But I know.
Yeah. So look, I think it's going to be a good card. Right now, it's only 5 matches. It'll probably last 2.5 hours, just like the other one in France did. It'll be good. All of these international shows are good.
There'll be some sort of surprise. I mean, like, yeah, Punk comes out.
You know what happened last year, right? With what was it last year? Last year with Drew and Roman, Solo debut, right? No, yeah,
Was that Solo's debut?
I think it was it Solo's debut? Yeah, I think it was Solo's debut, wasn't it?
He went out to Scotland for. I think
I think it was
I
Solo's debut.
I got to check. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think that Drew Claymore Roman 1, 2
I know it was because of shenanigans. I know. I just don't remember if it
Solo
was
came
Solo's
in. Yeah, I think it
debut.
was Solo.
I know that's the way that
Um,
Roman retained almost every single time. So I mean,
right,
like,
right, right,
yeah.
right. So I think it was that. Um, look, there's a lot to talk about, and look, do I want to get into AEW right now? I do, but I think that's a whole another episode to discuss different things. Because what
Okay.
I really want to get into right now, because we covered a lot of WWE, what I really want to get into right now, you're gonna be really happy about this. I want to get into chicken parm.
Chicken parm, baby.
I need to get into some chicken parm. All right. So I want you to tell me, to you, what makes a good chicken parm?
All right. So let me preface this with I wasn't the biggest chicken parm guy until I met my wife, who
Okay.
is chicken parm is her favorite food. Like she has a chicken parm scale and she loves chicken parm. And
Okay.
so what makes a good chicken parm is, the sauce, definitely,
Yeah.
the thinness, but not too thinness of the chicken, the
Okay.
crispiness of the chicken, the way it's breaded,
Okay.
um, how much cheese there is on it.
Okay.
Um, it just has to have the right ratio of everything.
You know
Um,
what's interesting about? I agree. What's interesting about chicken parm is right. It's like it's weird because like you order it at like a regular Italian restaurant, like give you like they pretty much give you like 3 pieces, or give me 2 pieces, two and a half, 3 pieces, somewhere around there. Like they're smaller pieces. The problem with that is you only get the cheese on the top layer. You open it up, and all of a sudden the cheese not there no more. That's why I think that a good chicken parm has got
dip
to
it.
take up the plate, right? It's got to be so big. There's nothing underneath it, right? It is. It's that bread to cheese to sauce ratio, which is important. Now, here's what's
Mhm.
interesting. So I could kind of see both ways, right? Like, first off, I love a thin chicken parm. The thinner the chicken parm, the bigger the piece can be,
Yep.
right? Now, here's the crazy part about it all. At the same time, I've had a thicker chicken parm as well that has been really, really, really good. But I want you to tell me, what is your favorite chicken parm?
All right. So I thought about this for a while, and I was gonna say a place in Atlantic City, but I'm not going to.
Okay.
What I'm gonna say is we went to this place in Manhattan called Quality Italian,
Okay.
and they make this. It's called chicken parm pizza,
Okay.
and it's basically one giant piece of chicken parm, but
Okay.
it's like a pizza, and they cut it in slices,
Okay.
and you pull it out, and then it's chicken parm and cheese, and you dip it in the sauce, and it is the most freaking delicious thing. Um, and that's the best chicken parm I've ever had. It's made perfectly with the cheese. You put the sauce on yourself, and it's fried perfectly. And it's like a it's and it the way you eat it with your hands. It's just awesome.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna stick with the Atlantic City kind of role. It doesn't have to be in Atlantic City, um, because there's multiple locations. Uh, but my favorite chicken parm is at the Palm.
Palm has a
Right.
great chicken
The
parm.
Palm Chicken and Parm. Everybody goes to the Palm and they always look at the steaks and I'm like, nah. First off, the steaks are like $65, $70. The chicken parm is like $39. And it comes out and it's big, thick. The cheese is ratioed perfectly. It's just real, and you don't really need much more.
It's falling off the plate there. We've gotten the
Falling off
chicken
the
parm.
plate, like you really
Yeah.
don't like. It's such a qual. And here's what's crazy about it is that with how big it is, it's not heavy. So what I mean by heavy, is you can eat the whole thing. You're full. Don't get me wrong, but you don't feel it. Like you don't go into like a food coma. The sauce is not overbearing, right? Like it's just because it's thin enough that it takes away that crazy thickness away from it and makes it a great experience overall. Now, if you have something thick from like an appetizer perspective, you're stupid. Like get a salad, get like a tartare.
Yeah, but their lobster bisque there is exceptional.
Yeah, but that's thick, right?
But it's
Like
exceptional,
wait, hold on a
exceptional.
second. Are you someone? Did you tell me? Are you someone that on a 95-degree day will drink soup?
Yes, I'm a big soup guy.
Oh, what's your favorite soup?
Lobster bisque.
It's too much. It's too much. Like a hot day, like a hot day, I'll do a gazpacho, a cold soup, but like I won't. It's too. It's like soup's meant to be like warm the soul, right?
I eat soup for lunch almost every single day,
Because you're trying to warm your soul.
and it's freaking freezing inside my office.
Oh well, then that there you go. That's the winter, so it's a different story.
No, it's freezing inside my office
I'm
during the
saying,
summer.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying is, it's winter then, right? It's winter inside your office.
Okay.
This is winter inside your office. That's how you justify your soup. Now,
Okay.
okay, so we got the chicken parm. I want you to give me your bobblehead of the day. Give me the story behind it.
Okay. So my bobblehead of the day is one that I've had for many years, and I just found it recently. And I had this when I first started collecting bobbleheads, and I also was into WWF, as we'll call it at the time, and it was one of my first in the series of WWF bobbleheads, and it is a
That's the
beauty
World
of
Wildlife Foundation, people, in case you
of
guys.
rumble heads of Triple H. This is a beauty of one made circa,
That's Triple H.
yeah, it's a rumble
Who
head.
made that? Stevie Wonder.
This was made in like 2000.
Look at his.
Made
Does
in,
it look
this
like
was made
his
in
face? Not
2000.
one bit. He looks like he belonged on like the show The Tutors.
This
It
is
doesn't
so
look like
good.
him one bit.
This
I
is
am no
so good.
selling our first no sell of the day. I am no selling that atrocity that looks like a painting of someone. Some painter would be like a
Okay. So the real bobble
gross.
of the day is this Alexa Bliss one right here.
No, you cannot. Every week cannot be Alexa Bliss. Could not be Alexa Bliss. Look, that's your bobblehead of the day. It's the. I feel like you took somebody else's head and put it on Triple H's body because that does not look like Triple H.
Look, it literally says Triple H on
It
the
could
bobble.
say Triple H, but you could also remove the head
This
and
is
put
one of
the
my
head back
first
on.
bobble. I love this bobblehead. You know what?
Yeah, obviously they've gotten about better probably with making the faces on bobbleheads, so that's
I
beneficial.
mean, you thought that Roman Reigns looked like JJ Redick from far back, so get your
Yeah,
eyes
but
crossed.
that one was right in front of my face right there, and like, first off, look at his must. He doesn't. That's not even what he's never even worn that in his face. Look at his face again.
I mean, they have gotten much better. This is like a very newer Shawn Michaels.
That's better.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, not. Look at his hairline. He don't have that hairline no more.
Yeah, this is
We all don't have that hairline no more because we get older. Well, guys, listen, it's been a pleasure listening to us. We talked a little wrestling, we talked a little food, and we talked what seemed to be a Triple H bobblehead, but I'm unsure of that.
it's a great bobblehead.
It's an awful bobblehead. Listen, check us out next week. We'll recap Clash of the Castle. I'm sure there won't be crazy amount of stuff, but there'll be some good wrestling on there. Up until then, guys, follow the BG at the Bobble Goat. Don't follow me because I don't care. Later.
Peace.